This is Senet. 4,000 years ago in ancient Egypt, everyone was playing this board game, from peasants to pharaohs. Playing board games is one of humankind's oldest pastimes. And yet nowadays, for most people, it's become something you only do once a year at Christmas. Which is a shame because as a hobby, it has so much to offer, especially to a modern world that's overworked and stressed. So today, I've got 10 reasons why playing board games will improve your life. Board games are analog. In a world of screens, they're an offline sanctuary you can run away to after a day of staring at a computer. It's so easy to catch yourself doom scrolling your phone after a long day, and in those moments, I need the willpower of Aristotle to read a book instead, or a complete brain transplant to do some exercise. But board games are a treat that's good for you. You can have your healthy cake and eat it too, and it doesn't taste of sawdust. Plus, it's easier to find the motivation because it's a group activity, like cooking something nice for dinner because someone else has to eat it, versus eating peanut butter out of the jar because you're on your own. If you arrange to play with someone during a moment of motivational strength earlier in the week, you will pull yourself off the sofa because you can't let them down. And once you're there enjoying the game, it will feel so worth it that you bothered. Just like getting to the end of a book. So people tell me. And you'll spend those few hours looking at some beautiful cardboard instead of your phone, because it would be rude to get it out. Funny that we can resist our phones to be nice to a friend, but we can't be nice to ourselves. And by funny, I mean sad. Board games help you make friends. And I know because I've made loads of great friends from playing games, and it's so much easier than in other areas of life. I just moved to a new city where I don't know anyone, and it turns out you can't just ask someone to be your friend, but you can invite them to play a board game. It's the ultimate loophole. Would you come to my house and talk to me for 3 hours and share a bowl of my favorite crisps with a view to becoming my lifelong friend? What? I mean, do you want to play Catan sometime? Oh, yeah, sounds great. Excellent. The board game acts as an avatar. I'm not asking you to spend time with me, I'm asking you to spend time with this game. It's less intense. And it protects my feelings from being hurt. If you say no, you haven't rejected me, you've rejected board games, which hurts me in a different way. And even better if you can invite them to a neutral territory like a board game meetup or a cafe, because they'll feel safe knowing you're not planning to eat them. Not yet, anyway. And they encourage you to keep making friends without you realizing it. It's scary to admit to yourself that you need more friends. Well, I don't. I just need 20 more people to play Blood on the Clock Tower with. Some of my best friends are people I invited over once to fill a seat at my gaming table because my old friends had moved away or started rock climbing. One minute I'm inviting them over because I've heard Colt Express plays best with 5 players, literally, and the next I'm inviting them to my wedding. And having the games to focus on gives you a chance to get to know each other slowly. There's less pressure than if you're sat in a bar staring in each other's eyes, raw dogging friendship. Board games are stabilizers to get you started, and eventually you can take them off and still have fun together. According to the University of Kansas, you need to spend 90 hours with someone to become their friend. So if you start playing Gloomhaven together, you'll be best friends by the time you've set up your first game. Board game meetups are a third place. They give us somewhere else to go that isn't home, your first place, and it isn't work, your second place. And it isn't a secret underground lair, your 8th place. Third places can give you that rare thing in our modern world, a feeling of community. Because sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came. As a society, we're lonelier than ever, and third places are the answer. There's somewhere you can go to mix with people, have a chat. Evidence has shown it doesn't matter how small the talk is or how little you know this person, it can still do wonders for your well-being. And that's a lesson for gamers too. Don't waste your life waiting for the perfect game night with all your favorite people. Better to play something with someone than nothing with no one. Especially when that someone might become one of your favorite people. Nowadays, so many people work from home that we don't even have two places to be anymore. And you need that distance from work to let your mind switch off, to remind yourself that you weren't put on this earth to toil. By going out to your third place, you're giving yourself permission to have fun. And the ordeal of arranging social activity as an adult is enough to make anyone a hermit, which is why a third place you can go to when you feel like it is such a game changer. If I'm feeling lonely now, I'd need to message some friends who might be free in 2 weeks if 8 other people have died before then. Or I can go to my third place at the usual time and get some social juice without all of the admin. Board games are great for families. It's Christmas time and you've made the trip back home only to be lectured about politics by someone who has the same eyes as you but sees things very differently. Board games let you see your family without having to listen to them. Is he going on another one of his rants about someone identifying as a cat? Dad, it's your turn. When are you two getting married? Mum, it's your turn. It's like your TV keeps switching over to Fox News, and you can just press a button to switch it back. A game is a diplomatic salve to all manner of family ailments by simply giving you time when you're not arguing or stoking resentment. You're playing happy families, and by firing those synapses more, you will create positive connections, rebuilding some of the damage. The less time you spend hating each other, the less you'll hate each other. And there's something you can enjoy with all ages. A 5-year-old boy can have fun playing a board game with their 85-year-old grandfather when they can't share their passions of football or whiskey together without the other falling over. Even at 2 years old, I'm struck by how much my daughter wants to play her toddler board games. But rather than being some gaming prodigy, I think it's simply a time she gets full undivided attention. A game is a brief pact for a family to pause the stresses of daily life, put down your phones, and be together. And one day, when she's older, I'll start lecturing her with political rants, so she will try to shut me up by playing board games with me. It's the perfect crime. Board games are mindful. You sit down for an hour and you're consumed. Everything else fades away. For the first time that day, you're not thinking about the job you didn't get, or the joke you made that no one laughed at, and one person even looks sorry for you. You're not thinking about that, because you are in this board game. Everything else can wait, because you need to complete this salmon run. I should say good games are mindful. If that doesn't happen, you're playing the wrong one. A good game will tickle your mind in just the right way. Like when you have a massage and they find that one spot which, when they press it, cures you of all pain and sadness. Until they stop pressing it and you're exactly the same again. Some years ago, I had such bad anxiety that all I could think about was dying. All day, every day. And playing board games was one of the few things that took me out of that. It didn't fix anything, but it gave me a break, made me realize my brain was capable of thinking something else. It worked for me because it kept my mind engaged. With other hobbies that are meant to be meditative, like coloring or knitting, my mind isn't being challenged, so it wanders back to its negative path. And with reading, it's too easy for me to be weak and get my phone out. By having other people there, it kept me focused. I haven't got time to Google medical conditions because it's my turn again. It's amazing how crippling anxiety can be trumped by British politeness. Board games are fundamentally social. They get you round a table with other people, talking and doing something together. If I want to play a game, I can't do that without someone else being there. It encourages me to spend time with people. But at your own pace. Having a game in front of you lets you socialize as much or as little as you want. If I play a card game with my best friend, it might take us 2 hours because we get sidetracked putting the world to rights. If I play the same game with someone I don't know, it might take 20 minutes if they're not feeling chatty. The beauty is that if you're shy or nervous, you don't have to socialize at all. You can just focus on the game. And yet, by playing, you are explaining your moves, asking about rules. You are socializing without trying. It's the perfect hobby for anyone who struggles with social situations but wants some practice. Are you getting caught up in your head? Well, so is everyone else planning their strategy. Can't think of anything to say? You don't have to. Look at your cards and plan your next turn. And when you are ready to talk, there's a conversation starter in front of you and a set of cue cards in your hand. But if you're a chatterbox like me, there's plenty for you too. Social games like Deception Murder in Hong Kong are non-stop conversations. And there's a whole world of party games to enjoy like Codenames and Just One. I love that it gives me a reason to see my friends. You shouldn't need an excuse, but it helps to have something to plan. Before I found games, if I wanted to hang out with my friends, we'd end up in a pub. It was like I had to get drunk to spend time with them. Now I invite them over for a game instead. Board games let you be someone else, because being you is exhausting, and it's a life sentence. So why not take an hour-long vacation from yourself? By day, you're an accountant doing number stuff, but by night, you're a World War II general commanding troops at Utah Beach. And it's not just set dressing, you're put in their boots, presented with the same decisions. Do you rush the left flank or send your infantry to destroy their artillery? Your choices have consequences, and it hurts when your troops get killed because that was your mistake. And tomorrow night, you're a race car driver in heat pedal to the metal, deciding when to push your engine to the brink of destruction. Each game is a different world to inhabit, a different role to play that requires you to flex new muscles to excel at it. You get to do things that you'd never do in real life. You can lie to your friends' faces playing as a spy in the Resistance and experience the buzz of getting away with it, but without betraying your friendship. Heat is a simulation, you're not really driving a car, but this is real, you are actually fooling someone. And it gives you a taste of being someone you're not. I love negotiation games, games like Lords of Vegas, where I have to barter with the other players to get the best deal. In real life, I hate haggling because it exploits someone's need to make money. But in games, I will exploit and extort, bribe and blackmail, and it feels incredible. I go on holiday and become a money-grabbing monster, running around in a world without morals like a kid in a soft play. And as they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You can be whoever you want to be in this world, punch everyone in the face this Groundhog Day, knowing it will reset for next time, and go back to your life with your friendships intact, because they know you're not really a ruthless monster, you were just playing as one. But you were scarily good at it. Perhaps you should become a landlord. As hobbies go, board games are incredibly affordable. Or at least they can be. We all know someone who's thrown all their money at a hobby and got both a shelf and a self of shame to prove it. I share a set of thumbs with one of them. But one board game has so much entertainment to give for a relatively small cost. For the price of seeing Mission Impossible 8 at the cinema once, you could buy the card game Sea Salt and Paper and play it 100 times because it's endlessly replayable. And sure, you could buy Mission Impossible on Blu-ray and watch it 100 times, but I don't think anyone wants to prove me wrong that much. For the price of doing an escape room once for an hour, you could buy the incredible team game Pandemic and get a lifetime's worth of entertainment because it's so good you'll never get rid of it. And that's a 4-player game, so if you can first establish a sense of communal responsibility in your friendship group, then it will only cost £7.50 per player to co-own that game for the rest of your life. The escape room would have cost your collective £100, so you can put those savings towards your polyamorous relationship counsellor that you're definitely going to need. But we can go cheaper. Remember those suckers who buy every game under the sun because they can't help themselves? They need 3 people to play them with. Find any board game meetup and there'll be one of those people there bringing a different game every time. And all they ask in return is to not look at your phone when I'm teaching you the rules. If you're not picky, you could play a new game every week forever. I've got a friend who works in the board game industry and he's played every game you can think of. But at home, he's only got 10 games on his shelf. Remember, this hobby is not about buying games, it's about playing them. But if you do buy games, they hold their value pretty well. You can sell them on and make back half of what you paid easily. And save even more money by buying secondhand in the first place. The other day, I found this copy of Cockroach Poker in a charity shop for £1.50, which is cheaper than a McDonald's hamburger. And I know what you're thinking, you can't compare them. One of them doesn't provide you with sustenance. Yeah, and the other's a card game. Board games teach you to be a loser. And I know, you've had a lifetime of practice. But we're all gonna fail in life, and it's good to learn to accept it without it ruining your day. The more games you play, the more you're going to lose. And the more you lose, the more you realize it doesn't matter. If you play Monopoly once a year at Christmas and suffer a devastating loss, you might wake up in a cold sweat over it in June. But if you've played 100 games since then, hopefully not of Monopoly, they evaporate into an endless sky of losses. It's exposure therapy. Lose until losing loses all of its meaning. When I started playing games, losing a game would sting for a few days, but now I've played thousands of times, it builds up calluses so it doesn't hurt anymore. I meet people who say they can't play games because they hate losing, but they're the people that need it the most. Losing is the cost of living. You can't find love or learn to skateboard unless you're willing to have your heart broken and your elbows grazed. And not always in that order. What I like about losing in modern board games is that it makes sense. I can look back at what I did in the game, see where I went wrong or where someone did better than me. And rather than wallowing in my failure, I can learn from it, and it gives me a reason to come back and play it again, to try to improve. But more than that, it's reassuring. When I got into games, I was a TV writer, which came with a lot of rejection, often without any logic or explanation. I would lose, but never know what I did wrong. At that time, board games gave me the justice I wanted. If I lost a game, I knew why. It was my little holiday to fairness when I couldn't get any at work. And now my success is controlled by an algorithm, so I play more board games than ever. Board games are a part of human history. We've been playing them forever. 3,000 years ago, Tutankhamun was buried with 4 copies of the ancient Egyptian game Senet so he could play it in the afterlife. He's probably bored of it by now. In his book, The Game Changers, Tim Clare points out that the dice game Hazard that Chaucer mentions in the Canterbury Tales is effectively the same game that Warren G refers to in his song Regulate 600 years later. Rolling dice never gets old. Later in the book, he tells the even more incredible story of when the conquistadors invaded Mesoamerica in the 16th century, they arrived in a land that played a dice game called Patoli, which had been played for centuries by the Aztecs, the Mayans, and the Toltecs. And it heavily resembled a game the Spanish played called Pachisi, originally from India. But the twist? That neither game inspired the other. Both were invented on their own on opposite sides of the world, but came out the same. We were so destined to play board games that fate insisted we invent it twice in case someone lost their copy. If you sit down with friends to move some wooden pieces around a board, you're doing what humans have always done. You're following a natural human instinct to play games. It's in your blood. No matter what game you play, they all share the same heart. You take turns, press your luck, win or lose, and have fun with friends. The rules have changed, but the feeling is the same. And when you find one that brings you joy, you feel that you could be at any point in history, because in that moment, all you need are good friends, a few rules, and some bits of wood. And that is how board games can improve your life. If you like this video, it might shock you to learn that I have many others like it, so you should probably subscribe to the channel. I'm John Perkis, thanks for watching.